Welcome to day 37 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of June 1997, which was My Best Friend's Wedding. Uh, I'm
Okay.
not gonna speak first.
I'm okay. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was going to put this at the very bottom of the list. The last
I,
10 minutes made it not at that spot. The last 10 minutes are okay.
I also agree with Alan. When we went into this, we were like, how are we supposed to even like the main character? How are we even because okay. And the thing is that the guy and the girl that he's marrying, it may not be the best romance and stuff, but that is not an excuse for all the horrible things that the main character does and
Absolutely
everything
not.
to try and break them up and stuff.
Absolutely
No.
not. It's because again,
No.
it's like I get it. Okay, the idea is that they haven't. These two people who are getting married. They haven't known each other for very long. She's like dropping out of college basically to be with this person. It's understandable that like people would be hesitant on them marrying, and then someone might be like, trying to maybe be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't marry this person. Okay, that's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah.
What's not understandable is all the shit this woman does to get them to like hate each other
Yeah.
when it's like conniving shit that she like makes up, like the whole email thing she sends, and before that she like tries to come up with this plan where she pisses him off or something. And again,
Yeah.
it's all like, oh, so I can get with him, dude. I've loved him all this time. So all this time, like, you just didn't fucking talk to the guy. Like, it's your fault that you're not married to him because you didn't do any goddamn action.
Exactly.
So now that when something is happening, you freak the fuck out because you're just like, oh no, he's what meant for me. It's like, even if he was meant for you, then you would have done something. Good
Yeah.
God.
So for most of the movie, we all pretty much hated the movie and stuff. But I think what ultimately, it's as Valen said, and ultimately what also saved it for me too, was the fact that unlike, like, say, Tin Cup or
Bed of Roses.
Bed of Roses or Dumb and Dumber and stuff, the main character, everyone, it's not like they get off with for all the things that they do and stuff and everything.
Right.
She doesn't get off on that. She gets yelled at, and it's not, she admits herself that she's a horrible person, and everyone else also admits that she is a horrible person too, and everything. And ultimately, she does not get the guy too, which most definitely would have been a hated movie if she got the guy.
That
And we
was
all agree on that.
yeah, those were all pretty much what saved the movie from being like despised.
Yeah, because Dumb and Dumber, what we hated about it, the whole thing was how none of them got off for anything that happened in that movie and stuff.
Right,
The
yeah.
Tin Cup, the romance was also, he got basically everything he wanted for, and didn't even learn a single lesson. In this, she did all those horrible things, and it wasn't played for laughs either. Well, maybe some of it was because it's a rom-com, but ultimately, she did horrible things, and everyone acknowledges that she did horrible things. They don't try to pretend that, oh, she was just in love or anything and whatnot. They acknowledge that she's a horrible person, and she ultimately did not get the thing that she wanted to get from doing all those horrible things, too.
I guess the thing is that she got humanized in the end.
Yeah.
Because we as humans can do horrible things, whether we know it or whether we don't.
Yeah.
So the fact that she did all of these horrible things and we were like so angry, but then in the end everything, like, she faces all of the consequences that she can reasonably face from like all these people, because she gets like yelled at in the bathroom, her best friend is like angry with her, But in the end, she does accept it, and then she does even make a joke about herself in like the wedding reception.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, it's the whole concept of like humanizing villains, except like not. I don't really know if she would be considered a villain by the end of the day. I guess to some people she would, and then to some people it's kind of like, I don't know. But with humanized villains, you don't necessarily have to condone what they do or even understand what they do, but you can kind of like just see how the situation played out reasonably at the very least.
Yeah. Like, as you said, she did face all the consequences she could from the whole thing and everything. And I guess the fact that she told her best friend why everything happened to. It wasn't like he found out about it. She actually went out and told him also, which I think was also a moment, because usually how these things play out is that the person would have found out that this whole thing was the other person's fault, right?
Right, yeah.
But in this case, she actually went out of her way to tell him. Like, she could have just not told him at all and everything, but she actually told him that she was at fault for the whole email thing and everything.
Yeah.
In which case... Alright, Valen, you go.
No, keep going.
In which case, I guess another thing also was that she didn't immediately get swept off her feet by another man at the end of the movie either.
Right, because her last dance is with her, like, editor who's gay.
Yeah. Which is also a thing, because it's not like, oh, she'll just find another guy willy-nilly and everything, too, because I would have definitely disliked it for that message, too. But, and also, I thought that was, like, a nice, like, tidbit at the end, but, yeah.
Okay. I want to be completely honest again. You two are way too nice. I completely disagree with the idea that she suffered all the consequences she should have. She should have been humiliated in front of everybody, kicked, not even allowed to be at the wedding anymore. Like, fuck that. The fact that she was still, like, the maid of honor and all that stuff, that was unbelievable. And the fact that you said, oh, well, she talked to the guy and she actually said what she did. Yeah, after doing so much shit and not telling him all these things when she totally was, not only had the chance, but was told to do so by the gay guy. And she just made up, oh, wait, I'm actually engaged to the gay guy. Like, that whole fucking subplot was completely pointless, right?
Okay,
to the story.
That part I did
agree
not.
with that. I guess what I meant by it, she told him at the end, was that she had, at that point in the train station and stuff, she had technically gotten all that she wanted for the fact that she had broken them up and stuff.
No, but it still doesn't work because, again, like, in the even when his response to her, like, he calls her, you know, like, fucking, like, fungus pus or whatever the hell he says, but, like, he's, like, kind of nice about it. It's fucking weird. Like, nobody legitimately gets actually super pissed at her, honestly. It's like, except, again, the wife person who he's marrying. Like, she legitimately gets pissed, but then she forgives her for this because it's like she apologizes, and it's like, I'm sorry, if you do something totally heinous and then you just say, oh, but I'm sorry, like, that doesn't make up for it. It's inexcusable, the kind of shit that she does. And the movie, like, seems to play it off as if, like, you have to sympathize with her. Which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Why would anyone sympathize with this person? I guess maybe the very end, okay, fine, a little bit, but it's just, oh my god. Like, when I said that, like, the end, like, made it not, like, the worst, I still think it's, like, the second worst or something. Like, I still absolutely hate this. It's just that the very end, like, 10 minutes, if you just looked at those last 10 minutes by themselves, pretty much from the actual wedding to the end of the movie, is, like, okay. Like, that's what I mean, is that it didn't end, the ending didn't piss me off, right? The ending was just alright, and, like, you know, there's some decent imagery and, like, kind of stuff like that, and it's, like, a nice moment, But it's just the fact that this character, honestly, in my opinion, doesn't come away with nearly enough consequences. And that, again, the whole tone throughout the movie is that, like, oh, look at this poor woman. She is in such a bad situation. We have to feel so bad for her. And then it's just, like, when she's doing totally horrible shit, it's just, it's so bad. I can't stand it. And it's, like legitimately, I think this person is, like, a worse character than, like, the guys in Dumb and Dumber. Because at least then they are played to be stupid and assholes and stuff like that. This person is like, they're acting like, but she's such a nice person. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And it's just that the intention of it and like what they're seemingly trying to go for and how that's completely fucked up. Like that aggravates me more, honestly. And like that's, I absolutely cannot stand this. It's just that, again, that like last 10 minutes as like a film scene is like a decent scene. That's why it's not the absolute worst thing we've seen so far, but it's very close to in my opinion. So there.
I can see where you're coming from, but I guess the thing is that there are some things that people can do that are really, like, horrible and stuff. And I guess a reason that maybe I can't say if this is particularly the reason that Mayan is nice about this, but at least for me, the thing is that sometimes people can be really antagonizing and stuff, and maybe it might be in their head and stuff, and it might cause some, like, decisions that maybe if they look back on it, they might not want to. They know that they would never make those decisions again, and they might end up hurting people that they like and stuff without really realizing that what they want to get from a situation is actually hurting the person and stuff. But I think, Mayan, you know what event I'm talking about with this.
Yeah.
Without me actually going into this.
Yeah, I understand.
But,
yeah.
For that reason, as someone who's been in that, not in this exact situation, obviously, but
I would sincerely hope not.
No.
We don't know anyone who's gotten married that's our age, so that's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know a few, but I'm not exactly like I'm close friends with them or anything. It's just like, oh, you're a person I knew. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I've not been in this situation, thank God. But as someone who's been in a situation like this, well, that kind of goes on. You get what I mean. Anyway, I can kind of at least understand why they didn't necessarily like kick her out or take away her title as maid of honor and stuff, and I can understand why they forgave her, because I also would not want to lose my best friend either in that situation and stuff. And in a way, going through those really tough things and stuff, like, friendship and relationships are different things, obviously. But I think in friendships too, people also forget that there are lows and highs to that too. And sometimes when you do fight and stuff, when you come out of those things, you also develop a stronger friendship and stuff too. So,
I mean, I completely agree with you in concept. I just think in terms of comparing it to this movie, you know, trying to ruin your quote-unquote best friend's wedding because you actually like him instead, that is not an a low in the friendship, that's fucking psychotic behavior. Okay?
I think-
That's the problem. That's why, again, what you're saying I agree with, I just don't think it applies here. It's too much.
I
just
think the
saying-
compromise would be that this particular situation in the movie is not something that you would want to sympathize with, but as a concept, like a very raw, basic, general concept.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. I mean, I personally would never want to watch this movie ever again because I think I would get really angry with this movie too. But I'm not saying that I didn't get angry and that it excuses her behavior, but I'm just saying that I can at least understand why her best friend forgave her and stuff. I don't necessarily understand why the bride forgave her, but anyhow. But yeah.
I don't know. It's ugh.
Overall, do not recommend.
No.
No, overall.
We're nitpicking over whether we dislike this movie or really dislike this movie. So it's, you know, not
I guess
exactly a great argument here.
If nothing else, we hope that you got something out of our discussion and our analysis of one concept of this movie. But otherwise, you don't need to watch it.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I will admit one thing though that I did like of this movie. While the dresses were awful and stuff, I will say that the balloons, like the balloon idea of under the net, that was a pretty idea. That was a very pretty.
Isn't that
So-
is that just is that like a wedding cliche? I have no idea.
I don't
No.
So I've never seen like a net with balloons underneath. That's so pretty though. I like that part. I was like, oh, well, I didn't like whatever she was doing in that part. I don't even remember what she was doing in that part. But I liked when I saw the balloons and everything, I just became distracted.
I was so mad that they used like good music in this like movie because like they're songs that I know from my mom, so I'm just like, no.
Oh yeah, you were like, don't ruin this song. No, you're ruining the
I
song.
was so mad because I don't think either of you know that song either.
Nope.
I heard it before, I think.
Probably in an older movie, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those songs that sounds like very vaguely familiar, but I'd never be able to place it.
They're older. So that was my gripe. Not my main gripe, but one of my gripes.
Hey.
Let's say that I guess the one thing I came out of this movie with is that there was the whole balloon thing.
And if that's the
Okay,
best
the
thing
balloon
about
idea.
if that's the best thing about your movie, you did something wrong. So does
Okay.
does Sora get a treat?
There also was no dogs in this movie.
Speaking of dogs, does Sora get
Oh,
a
yeah, the
treat?
next one.
Does Sora get a treat?
No.
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 I said I disliked the movie.
You people are. Oh God. Okay, fine.
That's that Sora is sleeping on her blanket right now.
Okay. Any last
Just
Any what?
any last remarks?
No, I already said that there's no dogs. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I will say. Okay, I'll say one more thing.
Is it
I
also about the balloons?
No, I don't even remember what the comment was about. But Maya just like during one scene just randomly said something. I think it was about weed. I don't even remember, and I just started
Oh,
laughing
yeah.
hysterically.
No, I remember this scene.
What even was the scene? I forgot. Oh yeah, it was like,
No,
why
this
are
is
you
the
passing the
myself.
cigarette? It's not a joint or something.
Yeah, that's
And
what
for
I
some reason, I just started dying laughing, and I'm like, if this is funny to me now, what is my life?
passing a joint apparently.
Apparently, the comedy gold now.
Yes.
Ugh.
If it hasn't been apparent to you already, Mayan is the pun master.
Yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Get used to it.
You have to get used to it.
Yes.
Okay, so we will finally wrap up this very all over the place discussion, half of which probably didn't even have to do with the movie itself.
No, whatever.
And we will move on to a better movie.
Yes.
I
Promise.
think, yes. I think for quarters of it didn't have to actually do with the movie. It's okay.
Fucking whatever.
But we promise the next one will be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We will see you next time in July.
Bye.
Yes. Bye.